If you are constantly tired and you feel like you can never get anything done during the day because you are so tired, you have trouble falling asleep, you need coffees to help you get through the day, and you're never energized during the day, then this video is for you. Did you know that people like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos sleep for 7 to 8 hours a night? In today's video, I am going to teach you how to sleep like a CEO. I am going to go through what your circadian rhythm is and why you need to care, what happens when your circadian rhythm is not optimized, the 3 external factors that can impact your sleep, as well as the 5 things that you can do immediately to finally get a good night's rest. If you're new here, hi, my name is Alice and I have a background in management, consulting, and finance. I worked as a senior finance executive, and through my own experiences, I came to learn how much I love research, speaking to a camera, and coaching. On this channel, we help people get healthy, lose weight, and improve their lives. If you're new here, welcome. Do hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell as well. Let's teach you how to sleep like a CEO. The circadian rhythm sleep connection. Now, to some intuitive extent, I think we all know that we have our own internal clock. No, not the biological clock that determines when you're supposed to get married or when you're supposed to have kids. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about your circadian rhythm. The internal clock that produces daily rhythms that determine when you wake up and when you go to sleep. As humans, our body's functions peak at certain times of the day. During the day, your melatonin decreases, cortisol rises, your muscles and motor connection are primed, and your alertness goes up. On the contrary, at nighttime, our body temperature rises, our brain consolidates memories, human growth hormone increases, stomach acid production peaks, and melatonin rises. What I'm really speaking about are the natural cycles, aka the clock, which our body and our hormonal system goes through day in, day out. This also happens at the organ level as well. Every organ in our body actually has a different clock. And at the cellular level, all of our body's activities also has its own clock. Our hunger hormones follow a natural circadian rhythm. The organs in our entire digestive system have its own clock. Our energy metabolism, use of carbohydrates, fat, or protein follows a rhythm. When and how sugar is absorbed in our body and whether it's converted to fat or glycogen also is based on a rhythm. And one layer down, cellular maintenance, the chemical reactions that our cells make when they repair and divide, also follow its own circadian rhythm. So it is pretty clear that because we sleep for 1/3 of our lives, we have to understand what this internal clock is, how we can maintain our internal clock for optimal health, and how to work with our internal clock to improve our sleep and improve the quality of our lives, our cognitive function, and our social interactions. Now, what happens when your circadian rhythm is not optimized? Well, today, almost 1/3 of adults suffer from at least one chronic disease. Whether it's obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, respiratory disease, asthma, or chronic inflammation, short-term circadian rhythm disruption, which is defined as anywhere from 1 to 7 days of lack of sleep, can lead to brain fog, lack of focus, irritation, migraines, and blood sugar increases. Longer-term disruption, which is defined by weeks, months, or years of sleep deprivation, in combination with poor nutrition and genetic predisposition, leads to gut diseases, immune diseases, metabolic diseases, chronic inflammation, reproduction disease, and cancer. If you are a frequent viewer of this channel and you watch us for our weight loss content, proper sleep and regulation of your sleep cycle has a direct impact on your food decisions and weight gain or weight loss. And by far, one of the biggest impacts of poor sleep, which we can all relate to, is its impact on our cognitive function. When you are tired, you simply cannot think. You make poor decisions, your judgment is impaired, and the brain's special drainage system called the brain lymphatic system isn't able to work effectively to remove any metabolic waste of the brain. Now, there are 3 factors that have an impact on your circadian rhythm, keeping in mind that timing is everything since we are talking about clocks. The first is light. Light has a significant impact on our circadian rhythm. Our eyes have special light receptors that send information to the center of the brain where your hypothalamus is to trigger serotonin. So if you do not get enough natural exposure to sunlight, your serotonin production will suffer. Serotonin is important to your body because it triggers your body to produce optimal levels of hormones and neurotransmitters to help regulate that circadian rhythm. Now, if you think about our ancestors, they did not have electricity. They woke up when the sun woke up and they used the sun as their light. In today's modern world, we have our iPhones that wake us up, sunrise alarm clocks, noisy neighbors that wake us up, young children that might wake us up in the middle of the night, garbage trucks, but hunter-gatherers did not have these things. They relied solely on natural light. When you wake up in the morning, that first ray of light in your eyes activates the melanopsin light sensors in your retina that tell your body that morning has arrived. The second external factor is food. The first bite of food that you put in your body also tells the body that it's time to start the day. Similarly, that last bite of food that you put into your mouth also signals to your body when it's time to go to sleep. And it is generally recommended that your last bite of food be no later than 2 to 3 hours before bed. Now, what happens if your eating patterns are inconsistent? For example, you eat your first meal at a different time every day, or you eat 2 meals in one day and 4 meals the next day. This can really throw off your body's internal clock. Also, because all of the organs that support digestion, which have their own internal clock, are being stimulated at different times of the day. For example, if you usually eat your first meal at 8 a.m., your stomach, your liver, your pancreas start to process at 8 a.m. And at 8 a.m. the next day, your body's digestive organs are expecting that first bite of food. However, if the next day you are not eating at that same time, and say you've delayed your first meal to 12 o'clock, then your whole circadian rhythm is a little bit out of sync with the world. And what happens is that your stomach, your liver, and your pancreas will get confused. They think that the time is wrong, and they think that it's actually 8 a.m. when it's 12 p.m. Now, the third factor is physical activity. Humans are meant to perform physical activity during the hours for which we are awake. When we are not eating or sleeping, humans are meant to be moving. Remember that our ancestors were not sitting at their computer, checking email, eating snacks, or scrolling on Instagram in between meetings. They were constantly moving and looking for food. So physical activity in the ancestral sense doesn't mean going to the gym. It just means any form of physical activity that is moving. We are supposed to use our muscles when we are awake. Our gut muscles are working, our lung and heart are working, and any form of physical activity in general, any movement, gardening, walking, moving, packing boxes, doing household chores, these are all forms of non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which helps you regulate your sleep. Now, here are 5 tips to optimize your circadian rhythm. Number 1 is to go to bed at the same time every night. This is the single most effective tip that I could give you, is to make sure you are rigid about your bedtime. And unless you are a shift worker or you have to work very odd hours or different times of the day or graveyard shifts, then for the most part, this is also part discipline as well. One of my mentors once told me, if you cannot sleep at the same time every night, how can you expect to do anything big in life? And when he said it that way, it really struck and resonated with me that going to bed at the same time every night, for the most part, is a discipline. Tip number 2 is to eat at consistent times. Now, for the reasons that I mentioned earlier, I recommend eating at around the same times every single day and getting in light into your eyes around the same time every day. Now, if you are trying to lose weight with intermittent fasting, that's totally fine. Just find a schedule that you can stick with consistently. Trying to get sunlight or daylight at the same time every day, ideally in the morning, also plays a big part in regulating your circadian rhythm. Now, on the topic of intermittent fasting, it is ideal not to eat 2 to 3 hours before bed. This gives your body and your digestive organs a signal that it is time to go to bed. Tip number 3 is to optimize your gut health. Now, what you eat directly impacts what your body, your health, and your sleep will look like. Most people don't know this, but up to 95% of serotonin is produced in the gut. The gut contains at least 400 times more melatonin than the pineal gland in the brain. Tip number 4 is to maintain a proper sleep environment. So get rid of the TVs in your bedroom, clean up your bedroom so that it is clean and clutter-free. If you need to, purchase those blackout curtains, the white noise machine, the earplugs, and treat your bedroom like a sanctuary. Do not work in your bedroom. The environment that you create in your bedroom has a direct impact on the quality of your sleep. Studies also show that the optimal temperature range for sleep ranges from 60 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Tip number 5 is to track your sleep. Having some sort of metric or data set to understand your sleep is very crucial in understanding how you can improve and regulate your sleep. We go through many stages of sleep throughout the night, and without tracking, it's very hard to determine what it is that is actually contributing to poor sleep. It's kind of like tracking your steps as well, right? When you track your steps, you are subconsciously more motivated to make sure that you hit your step goal for the day. Similarly, when you track your sleep, your subconscious is much more motivated to do whatever it can to improve your sleep. And if you're analytical like me and you want to do a deep dive into the numbers, then some of the key metrics that an Oura Ring or a Fitbit or a Garmin can help you understand is how long it takes you to fall asleep, how much REM sleep you're getting every night, and the percentage of REM sleep compared to your total sleep, how much deep sleep you're getting every night, as well as the percentage of deep sleep to your total sleep. It can also tell you your heart rate variability, your resting heart rate, and some other really cool metrics that are great to track. And if you're like me, then you probably like to Google these metrics and look at the charts and see how you compare to other people in your age range to see how well you're doing in that area. Now, you don't need to obsess over every metric, but understanding what your body does in each of these cycles contributes to good sleep habits. The last tip I have is to get rid of screens 30 minutes before bed. Eliminating screens or using blue blockers is a huge tip to help you with your sleep. I think a lot of us know this, but I also think a lot of us are guilty of going down the scroll hole before bed, feeling that it's your me time. Maybe you had a crazy day and you want to unwind. I love technology and social media as much as the next person, and I am addicted to my phone as much as the next person. But unfortunately, it is the blue light from your phone that, when it's taken into your eyes, triggers the production of cortisol in your brain, which actually goes against the body's normal hormonal processes. Remember that the body wants to decrease cortisol at night and increase melatonin so that it can go to sleep. Now, in today's video, we talked about sleep and how to improve your circadian rhythm. If you enjoyed this video, I think you will enjoy one of my other videos, which is understanding how much REM sleep you need every night, and understanding REM sleep is a crucial part of improving your sleep overall. So make sure you check out that next video right up here if you want to learn more about your REM sleep. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.